Look, our next guest is, well, I'm trying to look for an easy way to describe him. I'm going to call him a philosopher, an academic, a psychologist, but I'm going to use the overarching term. He's a warrior in the war on woke, and he's been brought here by the Free Speech Union, our friends at the Free Speech Union, to talk to New Zealanders about, and it's really funny, isn't it? You know, a year and a half ago, the left were telling us that the culture war didn't exist, but now it seems to be in absolutely, full metal jacket conflict. His name's Peter Boghossian. He is an American philosopher, college professor. He has effectively been cancelled, but I want him to tell his story. And like so many people we've had on the show, like Graham Linehan, they get cancelled and they come back stronger than ever. He's joining us by video link, so if you're watching this on the live stream or you're seeing it later, you can see his face. Welcome, Peter. Welcome to New Zealand, and thank you for coming on the platform, first of all.
Well, thank you very much. I happen to love it here. I think this is a fantastic place, very civilized, as I want to tell my companion Reed.
Yeah. Okay. You've been here before?
I have. I was here as part of a tour for the Richard Dawkins Foundation years ago, and I absolutely loved it. Truly, yeah. I genuinely love this place. It's great. Yeah.
Well, funny, I've interviewed Richard a couple of times, and he, like you, is a crusading atheist almost, I would say, and that is part of, if you like, your shtick. But every time we get someone like you out, I'm so interested in hearing from people with very, very illustrious academic records how you fell out with what was your comfort zone, with the people in your comfort zone. And I like hearing these stories in people's own words, Peter. So explain what happened to you.
So what happened to me is a series of derangements that are really rather funny in retrospect. So I taught at a university in Portland, and very slowly the university had been overtaken by, there's really no other way to say it, just demented ideology. And every time I asked questions about it, I was accused of a microaggression or triggering people. Someone had to go to see a psychological counselor after I asked them what evidence for certain university policies there was. So in 2017, I published a paper. It's kind of a hoax paper. Have you heard of social hoaxes?
And what was it? It had a very funny name, something to do with the penis?
Yes, the conceptual penis. And so basically I put a bunch of, with my writing partner James Lindsay, put a lot of vulgarities and crude language, and said that penises were responsible for climate change. It was really a nonsensical, idiotic
the colonialism paper of the penis.
Yeah, well, I'm big into our colonialism. That was our next.
And you were talking about real penises or transgender penises, Peter?
Well, that was, I think, one of the first things we said in it. There are actual penises, but there's a conceptual penis, and the conceptual penis is the driver for climate change and much of the world's problems. And basically, men are the problem, because that just conforms with the orthodoxy, right? That's what's morally fashionable. So anyway, the continuing the journey. So a lot of people were, needless to say, enraged by the conceptual penis, and they said the paper doesn't prove what you wanted to prove. If you need to do that, you need to publish in, more papers and
so not getting the joke, journals. Peter. They weren't getting.
No, not getting it. Yeah. Well, these people are totally humorless. They're totally humorless. So we then published a series of papers. I don't know if there's probably children listening to this, so I can't tell you what the papers are about, but they were about kind of the same thing, like the conceptual penis on steroids. I would make a joke about the hard penis, but this is a family show. So then we published these, and then the Wall Street Journal caught us, and then all hell broke loose. That's
because the last you can do to the politically correct, to the woke, the most terrible thing to do is laugh at them, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and they should be able to. So one of the things that happened, instead of defending the ideas or why these people published deranged papers, they came after me. They filed ethics charges against me, and they said that the journal editors were human subjects, and that I had violated some, human subjects protocols. Oh, it was really interesting. They also accused me of plagiarism, and that was the one charge that I pled guilty to. I plagiarized Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf and then published it, and in a woke intersectional journal. And then they decided that they weren't going to go through with the charges. Even after I pled guilty to their own charges, they found me innocent.
You Nazi. You terrible Nazi.
Well, they're actually the Nazis because they published Mein Kampf.
All right. So you are sitting until 2017, and that's kind of when Me Too is kicking off and everything else.
Yeah.
You're, I presume, well off, comfortable. Did you have tenure when all this kicked off?
I had continuous employment, which is a job for life.
Life, yeah. And what happened? What happened at your place of work? What happened to your life after you were witch hunted for having a sense of humor?
They made, well, not, it wasn't merely having a sense of humor. It was to just expose the fact that there was a deep corruption in scholarship. And if you forwarded the right narratives, you could get certain ideas published, and then those ideas would go on to inform public policy. And I was very, very explicit with James Lindsay and Helen Pluckrose. And you should know, James Lindsay just today revealed that he published another Sokol-style hoax. This time it was in a right-wing Christian nationalist journal where he published the Communist Manifesto almost word for word in the flagship journal. So you could look that up.
Right. So you lose your job, you're pushed to the outer, I presume. You don't get invited to the nice cocktail parties or parties anymore.
No, I didn't lose my job. What happened was, COVID hit at that point. Mm-hmm. And then I published a letter of resignation saying that the university had turned into a social justice factory. And I made that letter public online on Barry Weiss's Substack. And that went uber viral. I mean, crazy viral. That was downloaded just an insane number of times. And so then I quit, and now I'm doing my own thing, and I'm living my best life, and I'm here talking to you, and I've never been better.
Okay. And that new best life means working outside, I presume, a system, in an academic system that you had hitherto seen as the ideal for you, your future, and the sum of your human endeavors.
Well, yeah, I never wanted any of this. I just wanted to teach philosophy, critical thinking, ethical. I just wanted to write books and write articles, and the ideology just invaded and metastasized throughout the system. And anybody who questioned it or challenged it, I mean, it was impossible to, not only was it impossible to do my job, but it just did the students a disservice. We were telling them we were teaching something that we were simply not teaching them. We were forwarding certain conclusions that they had to adopt. I mean, the whole thing is it's a level of dishonesty and corruption that's just staggering.
And it has real world consequences. And I think in a country like New Zealand, at the bottom end of the world, we in our, and if you like, and what I would call the cancer of cancel culture and correctness has definitely reached these shores. And in some ways, I think that we are, I think things are changing in the United States, not in Britain, when you saw what happened at the Oxford Union the other day. And these mad ideologies translate over time into policies that affect people who don't go to universities and are just trying to get on with their lives. They're suddenly finding their colonialist. We find in New Zealand, I believe, that our national debate and our society is more polarized than it's ever been before.
Correct.
Not because we're post-colonial Nazis, but because we have a tiny minority of people captured by this ideology, and they tolerate no deviation from the ideology. Would that be a characteristic that you see in the United States and all around the world?
Yeah, that's correct. And so it gives me no joy to sit here in New Zealand and tell you this, but this is a type of neocolonialism. It's an export that the United States pushes and colonizes other countries with.